take a couple more minutes here. My first chapbook was called Shooting Pool with a Cellist. And the funny thing about getting this done was that this was when I had my knee surgery and I was kind of laid up, and Scott Douglas at Main Street Rag called me, and he calls me and says, hey, since you can't do anything else, why don't you put this book together for me, because you really need it, because we've been talking about putting one out, and I was just dragging my feet, no pun intended. But anyway, my leg was up, and he said, why don't you do this, and so we put this out, and this came out in 2003. This poem here is called The Swimming Lesson, and this, again, harkens back to growing up in Fort Lauderdale. The Cuban swimming instructor stood at one side of the pool of the YMCA, talking too fast and broken English as my brother and I held on to the other side of the pool, wondering what in the world he was saying, while scraping our toes and wiping the chlorine snot off our lips, scared that we would drown. He blew his whistle, and about 20 of us started kicking, crawling, paddling, and walking toward the other side. We knew he was a madman when he made us go back and forth, swallowing water, and who knows what else, regurgitating as we exhaled, flailing our arms in exasperation. Hitting the showers, my brother would say, naked city, man, as we stood, naked and pink in our decontamination. This one is called Attic Sale. At the Dogwood Motor Court on the county line, we made love in 2 counties at the same time. We slept late while down the road at the Church of God barbecue and attic sale. Someone was setting out a box of magazines and records, hoping to make a few dollars for the youth group's trip to Mexico. Later on, we sifted through the memories of others when I found T.S. Eliot waiting for my dollar. I pulled poetry from beneath a mass of redwoods and clenched my find with joy. I dusted off the cover, and a lady with gray teeth and a high-waisted flower dress said I could have it for a quarter. This time has been redeemed for 25 cents. Then you found some blues, BB stroking Lucille strings, making her wail, making me long for another time, another comfort zone, as we look for ourselves through the stuff of other people's lives. And I'll close with this poem. My wife came in one afternoon when I was working on my magazine. I had stacks of stuff everywhere. It looked just organized, but I knew where everything was at. And she says, what am I going to do with all this stuff if something happens to me? And I said, that's a great idea. So I wrote this poem, and it's called Letter from a Deceased Editor. Dear poet, in the event that you have received this letter, I probably had accepted some of your work for publication. Or I may have received your submission and have not read or responded to it as yet. I am dead. And this is a form letter I composed and gave to my wife to copy and send out to those of you interested in my magazine. Because I am dead, I am unable to comment on your work. However, please feel free to submit this work elsewhere. Send cards and letters to my family at the above address. In lieu of flowers, contributions should be made to your favorite charity. Along with me, the magazine is also dead. If you are a subscriber, too bad. My wife can barely afford to bury me. Please leave her alone in her grief and forget a refund. You're lucky enough to get this letter. Manuscripts will not be returned.